Most Pro Tools users are sleeping on one of the slickest features in the entire DAW, and it's hidden in plain sight. It's that little drop-down menu that says Waveform. But what if I told you it's your gateway to full automation control, precise editing, and mixing moves that actually sound professional? In this video, I'm going to be pulling back the curtain on Track View Selector, how it works, what it really does, and how to use it, and how to unlock its hidden power to make your sessions cleaner, mixes tighter, and workflow way smoother. Stay tuned to the end of this video because this is information that you're going to be actually using for every session that you use between you and a recording artist. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's take a look at the Track View Selector. So we're just going to go ahead and click here on the left-hand side of our screen. By default, you're going to see Waveform, but if we hover over that, we're going to see Track View Selector. Now let's go ahead and click on Waveform and we can see all of our different options here. Now, we're going to go ahead and start with the default, which is, of course, Waveform, which is going to be the most common view that you're going to have here in Pro Tools, where you can, of course, edit your audio, do crossfades, do just about anything that you need to do here in the program. And, of course, that's why Avid makes it the default. Let's actually go up to blocks. Now, blocks is really not going to make much sense here working with audio with just this individual audio clip, but it's going to make sense whenever we actually take a look at it in context with working with folders. So let's go ahead and open our folders here. I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder. Let's go ahead and just create a basic folder here. Going to go ahead and click on create. After I click on create, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and pull in the audio clip. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and pull in the entire track here into the folder. And then I'm going to change the view from blocks just back to normal. Let me go ahead and just move it back to the normal waveform. So once I go ahead and close it, you can see here that we have this block, which is essentially a visual representation of where the audio clip is here in Pro Tools. So if I go ahead and open up the folder and then I go ahead and move the audio clip, let's just say I decide I want to move the audio clip down a little bit. Go ahead and move it down and I can see it here. And this is going to come in handy if you decide to use folders or routing folders for things like stacks and harmonies. And you have a whole lot of things going on like background vocals. 9 times out of 10, that's what you're going to be using folders for. So this block view that you see here, which with folders is by default for organizational purposes, this is going to allow you to let you know where you are here in the edit window. Now, directly under blocks, we're going to go here to playlist. Now, playlist, this is where you're going to store all your multiple takes. So for instance, let's say you have an artist who's rapping a certain bar or singing a certain line and they mess up and they want to go back and re-record it, but you want to make sure that you don't actually lose it in the process. What you're going to do on your keyboard, you're going to go ahead and hit Control \, and that's going to go ahead and put the clips in the track here in the playlist. And then, of course, right here in the Track View Selector, this is where you can come to actually take a look at all the alternative takes that you could have. And as a producer who's worked with artists in Atlanta, we kind of have a reputation for being some of the fastest engineers in the game. Being fast doesn't necessarily mean that you're being reckless or inefficient. That just means that you're knowing your hotkeys and your keyboard shortcuts, and also that you are staying organized by having these clips here in the playlist. So that way, if the artist somehow changes their mind or forgets a certain word or something to that effect, you have them stored here in the playlist where you can come back, reference it, go ahead and pull it back up so you can continue on with the rest of your song. And next we have analysis and warp. And as you can see here, they're currently grayed out. And that's due to the fact that Pro Tools will actually need to be in elastic audio in order for these features to become accessible. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this little icon down here. This little ticker. It says elastic audio or ARA plugin selector. We're just going to click on that. And for this particular instance, I'm just going to click on polyphonic. After I click on polyphonic, now I'm going to go here and you're going to see that analysis and warp, they're now accessible. So what's analysis, what's warp, and how do they both actually operate? So whenever I go to analysis, you're going to see here that we have these different peaks here, or these different light blue lines here in the edit window. What that is it's Pro Tools' attempt to find the loudest peak in the audio clip. So that way you have a reference on exactly where the highest point is. So if you need to do any type of editing, you know exactly where that is. So whenever we decide to go to warp mode, we actually have the option to make changes. What I can do here now that I'm in warp mode is actually hover my mouse. And once I hover my mouse, you're going to see this little arrow icon with a plus. So what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to compress the audio in or also pull it out. So if I need to do any type of timing correction, let's say for instance, I'm working with some type of 1960s sample and the tempo was all over the place, this is one option that you can use. Also, let's say you have a guitar player and the playing isn't exactly right on beat, you can use this function here in Pro Tools to kind of tighten up the timing of the audio. So that's what these two features are for right here in the track view selector. All right, moving on. Now we have markers. Now markers, you're probably typically used to seeing markers at the very top up here to helping you stay organized for like the hook, the outro, the intro, the verses. That's typically what you're going to see those markers up there for. But here in Pro Tools, we can actually also have markers down here for the track. So what I can do here is I can go ahead and click on this little plus icon here. It says add marker. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then we can go ahead and name it. So I'm going to name it, let's just say, I'm going to name it love. So now here we can see that I have a marker that says love, and I can of course move it as well. So what I can do here, let's just say I have a whole bunch of different takes. I have a whole bunch of different, playlists going on, and I don't want to get lost. Okay, which part of my session, where's the artist saying love? What part? Was it this part or was it that part? These artists are going really quickly. Sometimes we can't quite understand what they're saying with all the auto tune, or maybe they just can't communicate in a way that we can totally comprehend. You can go ahead and use this to kind of leave yourself a little bit of a note here. So you have love, you could go ahead and type, you, I want, whatever you want here. And then you can go ahead and access them in markers. And of course, if you don't want to see this little line here to kind of keep you in place, you could just go back to waveform. After you go back to waveform, you see here that you still have the marker, and then you can still edit the waveform here, so you can stay organized. It's not quite as highlighted now, and you can still of course go ahead and move it, and the marker isn't up here up top, it's just down here for your individual track. All right, and moving on from markers, we're going to go down here to volume, and volume is of course self-explanatory. This line right here is just a volume line, so you can go ahead and make any changes that you need. So if I just want to highlight a clip, go ahead and make this a little bit quieter. You can see I have this little icon where I can make things louder or I can make things quieter. So that way I can just go in, make any type of changes I need to. Let's say I don't want to use a compressor for everything. I just kind of want to go in and manually mess with the volume. You could do that right here using the volume option. Then of course, if you don't want to see that line, which can pretty much get in your way in the middle of a recording session, you can just go back to waveform, and then you no longer see the line, but the automation for the volume is still occurring. All right, and moving on from volume, related to that, we actually have volume trim. So once we click on volume trim, we're gonna see this additional line here with the original volume changes that I just did a moment ago. So volume trim actually acts as a trim to the original volume. So what do I mean by that? So we see here on these different words and phrases that I went ahead and did a little bit of volume automation with the volume option in the track view selector. Now I can go ahead and trim it. So let's go ahead and highlight on the word. I'm going to go ahead and move it down a bit. And as I move it down, you could see that the line moved down as well. So if I want to go ahead and make things a little bit quieter, I can go ahead and do that by using the trim option. But then if I want to take it back to where it was with the volume ride, I can go ahead and highlight it, delete it, and then it's going to take me back to where it originally was. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that, and and that's going to take it back to where the volume originally was. So I have my volume automation, or my volume change that I went ahead and did. And if I want to do additional changes on top of that, I just use trim, where I can kind of tweak things, nudge things a little bit more. And, you know, if I'm playing the back, listening to the music, I don't quite feel it, things kind of felt better originally, I can just go in, delete the volume trim, and then have those original volume changes that I have here. So I just wanted to show you what this was, how it works, and how you can use it in your workflow. All right, next we have mute, which is of course going to allow us to mute some of our audio that we have here in the edit window. So you're playing back, you're listening to this song with the recording artist that you're working with, and you hear a certain word that you feel like you want to play back muted. You can just go ahead and click on it, see this little icon here, and then go ahead and pull down the audio. So let me go ahead and highlight this one. It's going to have this specific audio clip here. Go ahead and see that little icon there, the little bracket. It says not muted to muted, not muted, muted. So now that audio clip is muted. So if we're playing it back, let's say it's just an ad lib that I wanted to have muted for just a second, you can go ahead and use this option to go ahead and mute it. If you don't want to use any type of other muting options that you have here in Pro Tools, you can use this option, of course, here in the track view selector. And finally, we have pan. Now, panning is something that is really underutilized, I feel personally. You know, panning, sometimes we feel like we need to do, you know, wide pans whenever we're doing our stacks or vocals or harmonies, anything like that. But sometimes panning thing, just a kiss can just open up a whole new world, whether it's a snare, a vocal, an ad-lib. Panning things even just a little bit can just open up so much room in the sonic stereo spectrum. So here in Pro Tools, we have this option here for panning. You just, once again, highlight the clip, go ahead and move it up, and go ahead and pan it left. If I want to go ahead and pull it down, I can go ahead and pan it right. And as I'm going through, I could just listen to the music, pan things left and right as I see fit here. Quick, easy, smooth, and very accessible here in the track view selector. Now you might be thinking, Desmond, those are some great options, but it kind of feels like I might have to go back and forth from waveform back to mute, or waveform back to volume, waveform back to pan. That's a bit of a headache. I don't want to get lost on where I'm at as I'm recording my artist or recording myself. How exactly can I kind of see everything at once? I'm glad you asked. All you have to do is click here on the automation, show automation lanes. We're going to go ahead and click on that right now and see here. You can see all my volume changes that I did there a moment ago in the video. I can actually go ahead and click on the plus icon. See here, I can see the trim that I spoke about earlier. Also go ahead and click on the plus icon again. We could see here the mute. Click on plus icon one more time, and we can see the panning. So if you kind of feel like you're in the middle of a session and you don't want to feel lost, or you know, you feel like you did quite a few changes, but you don't want to keep going back to waveform, you can see here in Pro Tools, you have the option to see all the different changes that you've done here in the session. But if you feel like, hey, I only need to see a couple of them, you could just click on the minus icon. Go ahead and click on the minus icon for panning, and everything is still stored. You're just not seeing it here in the automation lane. So that's the power of Pro Tools. You have all kinds of flexibilities, all kinds of different ways of getting to the same place. It's all a matter of your workflow, your hands, your shortcuts that you like to use. And that's what makes this DAW so powerful for audio recording. The track selector may seem small, but it's essential for upping your Pro Tools game. As a special bonus for making it this far in the video, make sure you check out my free guide, 27 useful shortcuts that you'll actually use in your recording sessions. It's handmade, hand created by myself. I made sure to cut out all the fluff and just get the good stuff that you're actually gonna need whenever you're working with those artists, because time is money and you need to move quickly yet efficiently. Once again, I do thank you for watching this video. My name is Desmond A, and I'm here to help you make better sounding music one video at a time. I'll see you next time. Peace.
Desmond A.